can I just say one thing firstly? I love the name Eat Sleep Boxing Repeat.
ESBR Boxing in partnership and association with sharpbetting.co.uk, your home for betting tips and analysis across a range of sports, horse racing, football, and boxing being some of them. But obviously, we are here to provide boxing insight and analysis. Myself and Owen, this is a final predictions video, and we are offering final predictions for Devin Haney versus Jose Ramirez, fight taking place Times Square this weekend, obviously on that super sort of New York card, which also includes Lopez versus Barbosa Jr. Owen, without further ado, let's get straight into this, brother. Devin Haney versus Jose Ramirez. I want your prediction. Who wins, Owen, how and why?
Thank you for having me once again. I think Devin Haney wins this on points. There was a point where Jose Ramirez, obviously when he fought Josh Taylor, was one of the best names in the division. Obviously he did beat Pedraza and Richard Comey, but then he lost to Arnold Barboza Jr., whose stock is at an all-time high, beating Ramirez and Jack Catterall. I just think Haney, at this stage of his career, should be comfortably disposing of Ramirez. I think Ramirez is on the slide. Big puncher. He's only 32, so sounds a bit mad to say he's on the slide, but he's been in some big scraps. Like I say, that Josh Taylor fight was unbelievable. So that can add mileage at an earlier stage. So yeah, I think Devin Haney is just a better fighter. He's getting Ramirez at the right time of Ramirez's career as well. So yeah, for me, Devin Haney in a shutout points victory, maybe a 116, 112, 117, 111 around that mark.
Yeah, I can't disagree with anything you said there. I think for me, this is Haney points as well, fairly convincingly. I used to look at both guys. You go Ramirez, fairly durable guy, carries a bit of power himself, to be honest, 18 KOs and 29 wins, but never been stopped. Only a couple of losses, obviously, like you mentioned, the Josh Taylor one and against Barbosa, obviously, is also on this card, fighting Teo Lopez. But I think, you look at it and go, do I think he'll stop Devin Haney? He's got power, but I don't think so. I think Haney would be too elusive. But Haney himself, not really a big puncher, is he? In a 15 stoppage is 31, so I don't see him stopping the durable Ramirez. So yeah, I think, to be honest with you, Devin Haney on points seems to be the prevailing wisdom. And I'm just going to bring in our guys here from Sharp Betting. Obviously, sharpbetting.co.uk, our partners here. They've obviously got Devin Haney, a huge favourite, betting odds of 1.08 to Carlos Ramirez 8. So you got sort of 88% kind of favourite on this one, 12% underdog, backing Carlos Ramirez. Is that how wide you see it, Owen? Is that a fair reflection of this fight? Or do you think maybe it's a bit too wide? Just give us your thoughts on the sort of betting angle of this one, please.
Yeah, I think that's spot on. You're always going to get people, who see the 18 knockouts and 29 wins, think he can punch a bit. We'll see the Haney, Ryan Garcia aspect into it. So you're always going to get someone, and I don't blame them at all, who throw a couple of quid on a knockout victory, because the odds will be extremely good to back Ramirez via KO. I think if Ramirez wins this, it's a shock to the division. It's a shock to Devin Haney, and it sort of throws Jose Ramirez back into the mix. I just can't see it happening. I think Haney is a very wide favourite for me, and yeah, can't disagree with that at all.
Well, Devin Haney, he's been world champion at a couple of weights now, lightweight. So like this fight's at welter. Do you think Devin Haney? Have you seen enough in Devin Haney to think that he could be a 3-weight world champion? Is that something that can happen for him? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think at the weight currently, in terms of the world's sort of world title picture, Haney, Lopez are the two that realistically should be at the top of the division. Obviously, I know what happened with Ryan Garcia. Got turned to a no contest with Ryan Garcia popping. So I think Devin Haney can definitely win a world title at this weight, 100%. I think him and Teofimo Lopez have to meet at some point. It's the biggest fight in the division. It should be for all the bouts, but boxing politics probably won't allow for that to happen at any stage. So I think definitely for me, there's a title there to be won, and should be won. And then hopefully at some point we can see him fight Teofimo Lopez.
Yeah, no, I agree. But also, if you're looking at obviously, Haney and Ryan Garcia, contentious fight that happened. Obviously, Haney losing that one, but obviously what happened afterwards when no contest was decided. Do you think that there's a chance that those guys might meet again? And if so, do you think that it'd be next? And would you have Haney sort of favourite in that, or would you have sort of Garcia with the sort of psychological and physical advantages over him?
I definitely don't see it being next. I think Garcia will have a comeback fight. Obviously, I Obviously, he's fighting Rolly Romero. That's a decent fight for Garcia to come back in with. Does he get thrown straight back into world title picture? I don't know. Obviously, he's Malvi. He can back it up. You know, he sells tickets. You know, he sells pay-per-views, etc. So people want to see him. I don't necessarily see it being next. I can see it definitely happening. I'd like to think Devin Haney can make the adjustments, obviously, to beat Ryan Garcia. However, even taking away the PED aspect and the popping, you know, that left hook was just there every single time, regardless of Garcia being on drugs that night. It was the same punch that was landing time and time and time again. Obviously, Haney will say him popping, that's why he couldn't take the shot, etc., etc. But I'd like to think Haney could make the relevant adjustments. But that shot did find its home whenever it was thrown, and it landed every time with a vengeance. So that I do definitely want to see the fight. Don't see it being next, but I can see it being within the next sort of 18 months or so.
Yeah, you know, I'd like to see that fight as well. I agree with you. I don't think it'd be next necessarily. If I'm Devin Haney, I probably don't want that fight next. And also, I think, you know, I still kind of have Ryan Garcia with the hex on Devin Haney. So I think, you know, it's one of those ones I kind of struggle to see Devin Haney winning unless Ryan Garcia kind of goes off the wagon a bit and kind of exhibits any more kind of, you know, crazy behavior. And you think, okay, maybe he's putting unnecessary mileage on his clock with extracurriculars. So that's maybe one of the way I sort of see it going. But that's all we've got time for, Owen. Thank you very much for joining me, guys. As always, thank you very much for watching. Check out the channel. We've obviously got your box needs up under one roof, reviews, previews, big fight breakdowns, all that good stuff. And check out again the guys from sharpbetting.co.uk, betting tips and analysis based on this card, other cards, and also across a wide range of other sports. Thank you very much again. And as Owen, as always, thank you very much for joining me.
Pleasure as always, mate.